Hello.
Hi, guys.
It's been a little while.
We're alive.
We are. We are. I know there was some
So,
concern.
what has it been, like a year and a half?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Oc-
Since
October
uh,
of
yeah.
2023?
So yeah, since Ahsoka ended and my daughter was born.
Yeah, so a lot of things correlated around that time. But hey, guys, we're alive. Everything's good. We just have personal lives, and those personal lives have had to come first. And also, Star Wars hasn't been great, if we're going to just be perfectly honest here.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, we know some people have been reaching out to see what's going on, so we just wanted to provide an update. Things have been busy. Life is crazy. And we just wanted to provide an update on the status of the channel, which is on hiatus. I think we can safely say after.
Yeah, it's been on hiatus for a year and a half, but this is your official confirmation that it's on hiatus a year and a half later.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot has happened in that time period. And I guess we just want to kind of explain where we're at, what we've been up to, why we haven't been posting, all that fun stuff. So this is our little update episode. We're not doing any episode breakdowns or anything. To be honest, I haven't watched anything Star Wars since Ahsoka. So
Same.
that's kind of where we're at the moment. Um, I mean, obviously, a lot has happened since then. We had Skeleton Crew come out, right? Which I haven't watched. I heard a couple okay things, but nothing super crazy. I haven't had time. Like, to be honest, I haven't had time to watch anything that's not with my wife. A baby does that. It's busy.
Mhm.
I'm busy adjusting to being a dad. And then obviously Ahsoka ended when it did, and then there wasn't stuff for a while, and then we just haven't had time. Also, I think we ended that show just feeling very um uh,
Numb.
yeah, lukewarm and just kind of let down, to be honest. That's at least how I felt. I don't know about you, but I just it just felt like we've been burned so many times. It's kind of been the same thing over and over again. And the inspiration's just really not there, unfortunately. At least for me. I can't speak for you.
No, it's been slow for sure. I think the word for me is just maybe apathetic
Hmm.
is the right word for it. I haven't really felt anything. I mean, now granted, I will admit Star Wars within all of these projects in the last few years have had moments of, yes, that's awesome. I love that. That's great. But they're so like far few and in
Yeah.
between. And when you look at it with your rose colored glasses off, you're like, oh, there's really no plan here. There's
Hmm.
really no sense of we have a story that we're trying to tell, nor are we telling it really well if we are attempting to have a story. It just feels like again, apathy. I feel
Yeah,
apathy. I
that's a
feel
good
like by
word.
the time we got to the end of Ahsoka, I was like, I'm feeling worn down. And I
Yeah.
feel like if I'm gonna continue to love this thing, because I don't want my love for it to be destroyed, I need to take a step back
Hmm.
and like protect my impression of Star Wars or protect what I love about it. Because
Yeah.
because as you know, like then the Acolyte came out and like
Oh yeah,
oh
that came out too. I forgot
God,
about that.
I didn't even watch that, but I watched clips and I was like, I just can't do this right now. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I was kind of the same. I mean, look, it was kind of a perfect storm of things too for us. So I had my child, which has been amazing. She's the love of my life. I love her so much. It's so much fun being a dad and adjusting to
Mhm,
that. But then after I had the kid, I had major jaw surgery as well, which I
mhm.
think we talked about on the show. I don't know if we did or
We did
not.
I think we might have minorly brought it up.
So yeah, that was in October, and that's a long recovery process. That's a couple months of me looking like a chipmunk and not being able to eat solid foods or open my mouth or barely even talk. And then it's another like 8 months after that of like letting your face level out, and you put that on top of adjusting to being a new dad. And I've recently accepted a new job. Like there's just all these other things that life throws at you where you just don't have as much time. And creative energy to put into things like Star Wars, especially something where the content isn't something I'm particularly excited about. And it felt a little stale, if I'm being honest, too. Like after Ahsoka ended, I'm like, I agree with you, where it didn't really feel like there was a really great story that I was excited about, and which is unfortunate because it felt like when Mando season 2 came out and concluded, it felt okay. This is a new era of Star Wars. It's going to be great. And then we had show after show, Book of Boba Fett. You got Bad
Mando
Batch in
season
there,
3,
Mando season 3,
which was rough.
Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and they all had elements in them that are good, but nothing that like blew me out of the water. And especially the way Mando season 3 ended, it was just that was one of the first like nails in the coffin for me. I
Mhm.
really did not love the ending of that show. Um, and then Ahsoka comes out and just leaves more to be desired. And then there's all these other announcements. Like this is what Disney does with Star Wars. They announce all these shows and all these things are doing, and then half of them don't come to light. Half of them
Yeah.
don't get
Half
fruition.
of them never get made
Yeah,
or
like
they're
the Lando
quietly
show
shelved.
and like a droid story and all these things. Like, uh,
Rian Johnson's trilogy.
yeah, and then like the Ray movie, is that happening? Is it not? And like, I'm not particularly interested in seeing that, to be honest.
Mhm.
Skeleton Crew, I don't know. Like, I've heard decent things, but nothing that made me want to go. I need to watch this from start to finish and carve out time to watch this because, again, I'm busy at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you get news like Kathleen Kennedy potentially stepping down at the end of 2025, and you go, "Hey, that's good. I would like that. Maybe that'll be a new like reinvigoration for the brand and the IP." Um, and then Andor season 2 trailer comes out, and I'm like, all right, that looks interesting. I'll try to watch that. Like the first season I didn't love as much as everyone else. I think it was over enjoyed by a lot of people, or overhyped a little bit, but I still think it was interesting, and I'd watch the second season for sure. Um, but yeah, overall, it's. I think we're just in a weird place, and that's unfortunate to say. I'm just like I'm bummed out by it a little bit. Um, but it is what it is. But like everything's good, everything's fine. I'm not like I hate Star Wars. I don't think you're that way either. It's just
No, of course. It's like
um,
if you love something, if you love something, let it go. But like I'm kind of in a place of I need to step back and miss this. I
mm,
need to miss Star Wars, and I feel like it's so oversaturated now with mostly sludge that I've become apathetic. Like it was weird last week, or I'm sorry, maybe this week. Disney dropped a trailer for another animated series called Tales of the Underworld. So you know how they had Tales of the Jedi? And then I think that they did Tales of the Sith or the Dark Side or whatever. I didn't watch the evil version of Tales of the Jedi because I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And when this Star Wars Underworld trailer came out, it's all about like Boba Fett, or I'm sorry, not Boba Fett, Cad Bane and Ventress. And
right.
5 years ago, I would have lost my mind over that. Three
Yeah,
years ago, I
yeah.
would have lost my mind over that. I didn't hear anything about it, so I didn't watch the trailer till like 3 days later, and then I watched it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I feel nothing."
Mm,
And I hate that.
yeah,
And granted, the trailer, like in the trailer, they have like, ooh, it's like Cad Bane's backstory and like how he becomes a bounty hunter. And I'm like, I don't care about that. I just want to see Cad Bane like kicking ass and doing stuff out of his own self-interest. I don't want to know what he was like as a child. I don't care what his upbringing was that turned him into a bounty hunter. He's a bounty hunter who's only out for himself. Let that be his story. We don't need to
yeah,
know his backstory. And I guess I'm just tired of getting stories to all of these characters to where the characters aren't even special anymore.
yeah,
And you know everything about them. It's like the same thing with Han Solo when they did the Solo movie. It's like, I don't care. I don't need to know. I need to know just Han Solo, like where he is. Stop giving everything a backstory. Stop trying to explain everything. Stop saying, well, they became this because they became misunderstood as kids or whatever you want to tell. I'm just like, they're making Star Wars not special anymore. And for me,
yeah,
I feel like that's where a lot of my apathy is coming from. And when I saw that trailer earlier this week, I was like, oh, okay. Like I don't know. Like if I really think about it, back in 2014, there wasn't anything new Star Wars. You know, The Force Awakens had just gotten announced, but the only major project that was out at that time was Star Wars Rebels. And it was so special because it was the only Star Wars thing that was out at that time. There was nothing else in the field. It was just that show, and people were excited about it because it was like the first new Star Wars thing that you had in almost 10 years Clone Wars had just been canceled, so it was kind of like a special little thing of its own, and I'll always have fond memories of that. But now it's like so oversaturated. You have a new show like every 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's like it's that quote from The Incredibles: when everyone's special, no one will be.
Yep.
And it's just like there's nothing special anymore about it, and
Yeah.
that's frustrating to me.
Yeah, you're right. They oversaturated it a little bit, and I'm fine with that if it's all really, really solid. But you and I talked about this ad nauseum, I think, in our previous episodes. But like, you're right. When everything's special, nobody is. When everyone's special, no one is. And I'd be fine with more and more content if it was really, really solid. But it just all felt kind of like half-assed, to be honest. Like Book of Boba
Mhm.
Fett, they're like, oh, maybe we'll do multiple seasons of this. And the first one wasn't received very well, understandably so. There was some good stuff in there, and it could have been a really great show. It just needed more time. Don't put the pressure on these creatives to put content out without a fully fleshed out idea. And that's kind of what it seems like across the board. Same thing with Ahsoka. Like there was a lot of good stuff in there, but also a lot of weak stuff. Same thing with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan had potential to be just insanely good, and I did enjoy it. It should have been a movie. Let's be real. A movie would
Mhm.
have been way better. I don't know. I think it's a money thing. They were like, let's draw it out over a long period of time. And every streaming service is guilty of this, where the Netflix is famously guilty of it for putting 6-episode documentaries when it could have just been 1 or 2.
Yep.
And so I think it's just that culmination of things. And I'm sure, look, Andor could be great. Skeleton Crew could be good. But I personally haven't had time, and then I haven't had that like strong
Interest.
desire or
Yeah.
interest to do it because it's just become exhausting, and I don't want to be like let down again. And like honestly, you need a break after a while, and I think this is part of the problem in general with a lot of fans is like
Mhm.
in order for an IP to be super successful over a long period of time, you have to make people wait a little bit more. Like
Yep.
Marvel did a great job at this for the first
10, 15 years.
yeah, the first part of all that with one movie and then a couple of years later another one and then another one. They connected everything with Avengers, whatever. And you can think what you want about Marvel, but they did a good job. It was a good marketing strategy and the content was good for the most part. And then they kind of did the same thing with Disney that Star Wars did, which is you just have all these TV shows. It becomes too tough to follow. Now, if I watch one TV show or another movie, I have to have all this context from everything else. Then it's impossible to follow along. And it's kind of getting the same way with Star Wars, except for there's a lack of originality and recycling of old characters. And they're not putting the groundwork in from a creative standpoint, which is
No,
also
not
like
at all.
it sucks. Like I wish they didn't. But by the way, maybe they have. I'm not really one to talk. I haven't watched Acolyte. I haven't watched Skeleton Crew. I didn't play Star Wars Outlaws, which is another thing we didn't talk about. The video game, which kind of flopped, if we're being honest. And it shouldn't have. An open world Star Wars game at face value sounds incredible, but I didn't play that. I had no desire to play it. It didn't look like a super interesting or unique game to me. Not that I've had time to be gaming either, but like
Yeah.
I would have checked it out. And I just, from that world, that community, it didn't have super positive reviews. So that's just kind of where I sit. I know people are going to be angry at us for not liking where things are. I'm sure some people love it. And if you love it, I'm happy for you. That's amazing. I wish I felt the same way. But also, it's not totally on them. It's also like, I am time restricted with where I can spend my free time, and having a kid, just you have to be more intentional and planned out with the way you do things, and the extracurricular stuff I want to spend my time on has to be like 100% worth it. And that's the other thing is like if I'm not passionate about something, especially from just like a broader YouTube perspective, like if you're not passionate about what you're doing, the content you're creating, people notice that it lacks authenticity. And then you're not going to be
Yeah.
able to grow the channel because people will see through what you're trying to do. And I don't want to be like that. I always wanted to be authentic. And like we both love Star Wars. We've always loved Star Wars. That's why we started this is like after Mando
Mhm.
season 2, I wish we could have done the show for Mando season 2 because that was awesome. But that's how this whole thing started. I was like, this is great. Let's you and I called each other and talked about it all the time anyways, you know?
Mhm.
That's why we started it. So it was an organic thing that just felt really right and natural. And I don't want to put content out there that I'm not like extremely excited about or passionate about. And that's also kind of part of it is like because then you're not going to grow the channel. What's the point of doing it? It's like I'm just putting stuff out into the ether for the sake of doing it. Like I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
interested in it and the channel's not growing. then why am I doing this in the first place? That's another like thought that's been in my mind.
Sure. And I mean, I echo your same sentiments. It's just for the most part, I don't feel the drive, and I want to feel the drive to do it.
Yeah.
But it's like I can't fake that I love this when I don't. I don't know about you, but I kind of checked out some of the other series. I mean, I thought The Acolyte was an absolute mess. I don't know who greenlit that show, but I thought it was personally, I thought it was a disaster. Um, and I laughed about it with a bunch of my friends. Like we were just cracking up over it.
Yeah.
Skeleton Crew, from a few people, like a few of my good friends, they said it was inoffensive and lighthearted. I was like,
Mm.
okay, so you didn't say you loved it, but that's nice, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's pleasant. And then with the animated projects, like even on in my social media circles with people I know who share a similar passion and love for the animated series, very much crickets, very
Yeah.
much quiet. It's not a lot of buzz, it's not a lot of discussion. I mean, even Bad Batch season 3, which I never finished. I watched season 2. I can't
Oh
even
yeah.
remember. I can't even remember. No, that's a lie. I started the first 2 episodes of season 3 of Bad Batch, and Matt, I don't remember it. And I know
Really?
how I don't remember it. And I know how this series ends. Um I was like, "Oh, that's nice," but, like, I just didn't feel the drive to put my time into it, you know? I was like, "Okay, I kinda wanna watch other shows now." Like, I'm not really interested, like, I just don't have the excitement for this, and granted, the one thing I did see about Bad Batch that I was like, "Oh, kudos to them," is they kept Tech dead. Like, they didn't resurrect him, like, they were
Oh.
like, "Oh, we killed him." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty ballsy," because I was 99% convinced that they were gonna do some resurrection thing, but it turned out that they kept his character dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I saw the ending. Do you care if I spoil this at this point?
No.
Exactly. So I saw clips online of the ending, and the ending is a flash forward by like 10 years, like 10, 13 years. And Omega's an adult, and she like goes off to join the rebellion, and the clones got old and they retired on that island, the Pabu island
Oh
that
yeah.
they were on.
They talk about living at. Don't they talk about that in season 2?
Yeah, they talk about living there, and it turns out they did retire there. Like all of them, they got Crosshair back. They all retired there, and then Omega goes off to like join the rebellion because she's like, I can't stay here. She's like, I'm not in retirement. Like I have to go do
She's
something.
a young woman.
Yeah, so she's like, I'm leaving, and so she leaves. And I saw clips of that, but I just never watched it. And I hate that because I've always grown up loving Star Wars animation. I've always grown up loving Clone Wars, loving Rebels, you know, even loving the first 2 seasons of Bad Batch. And I just don't like that I'm in this state now. Like I still love Star Wars, but it's now like I I've kind of quietly moved on.
Yeah.
And like I need that passion to come back. I need to deprive myself of Star Wars
Yeah.
so it comes back. Like I wish Star Wars would just take a 5 to 10 year break and not make anything. But that's never going to happen because the studios are going to milk it until it's
They'll learn their lesson at
bones.
some point that it's not the right strategy to just keep flooding the market with stuff. And this is an issue with an IP as successful as Star Wars is it's so valuable. People love it. They resonate with it. They grew up with it. And you want to monetize that. But if in doing that, because the IP is so important, you have so many fingers in the pie. And I've said this again ad nauseum since we started the show, but you have so many fingers in the pie and so many cooks in the kitchen that it dilutes things because everyone has their opinion. No one person has creative control over everything, except I guess maybe Kathleen Kennedy. And like that's not good. Because then what your friend said about the Acolyte, it was inoffensive and
No. The Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton
Acolyte
Crew.
was offensive.
Inoffensive and what they say?
Inoffensive and what did I say? Wholesome or
Yeah,
lighthearted, lighthearted.
lighthearted. Yeah, and you can kind of take that and apply it to most of the shows that have come out with Star Wars in the
Mhm.
last 5-10 years, and that's because they're trying to appeal to a broad audience. When you try to appeal to the lowest common denominator, then no one's going to truly you're not going to get a large audience that's super devoted and loves where everything's going. You have to be able to offend some people and be able
Mhm.
to take it in a different direction. And to have really solid TV today, you have to have dark moments. You have to have a realism to it. You
Mhm.
have to have emotion and decisions from characters that are relatable and acting that's good and writing that is good. similar to any of the great shows that are out there that we relate to and we enjoy so much, and that I've created or that I've made similarities to in the past with like a Sopranos or Game of Thrones or whatever it might be, and these all have that Disney like
Effect.
shadow effect to it. You can feel it in the show when you're watching it. You can tell they're holding back, and it's because they want to appeal to the lowest common denominator, and they want to make sure they're casting a wide net and uh, Disneyifying it and making sure it's safe to be everywhere. But in order for a brand like Star Wars to like continue growing and to be what it originally was, you have to allow less people with all creative control, complete creative control. They're on the same page that formulate good stories, that take
Mm-hmm.
risks, and create something that is more artistic at the end of the day. Sorry, hippie and me
Mm-hmm.
coming out. Like you got to have better symbolism and stuff. Like you can wow me with your effects and your CGI and your set design and production value, but if the story's not there, that all means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of that good stuff in a lot of these recent shows that we saw, and there's so much potential for it. It's just they don't take those risks where needed. And I think that has also, you have to have them in segmented compartments. So like Bad Batch, yes, you can be more inoffensive and lighthearted with that. Great. That's what it should be. It's an animated show. Awesome. And you can also have dark moments. You can take some cues from Clone Wars, right? And you can still have those darker, more intense things, like some of those really good Clone Wars episodes. But for a show like Skeleton Crew, I didn't watch it, but it seems like, yeah, pretty lighthearted and like great. That's for that audience. But then if you're doing a show like Acolyte about the Sith, evil people, it needs to be very dark and gritty. And that's what I was hoping for with it. I didn't watch it. I watched like a couple clips from a couple, and I have a couple friends who also were like telling me about it, and they're like, "Yeah, it wasn't great. A couple cool lightsaber fights, but I wasn't bananas about it." And these are like hardcore Star Wars fans who read all the books and are like, they give very generous interpretations of Star Wars stuff
Mm-hmm.
all the time. But they need to sit in their own lanes, and that's how you capture the audience as a whole. Don't try to appeal to every audience with every show. Appeal to different audiences with different shows. That's my personal opinion.
And
That's what
it's
I
like,
think you're going to do, but they
yeah,
haven't taken that strategy. And so for me, I feel like if I'm watching all of it, if I'm someone who's consuming all of it, I'm doing a show where I watch all of it and I talk about all of it, it all kind of starts feeling just the same. And there's no unique identifiers where I'm like, you have to check out this show. Obi-Wan was this, and this is why you should check out this one. Oh, but the Acolyte was this, and it's darker and grittier, and it has more long storylines, and the episodes aren't 36 minutes, which also pisses me off. Sorry, but like short episodes is
yeah, that's
another thing that really
ridiculous.
drove me bananas about these last couple shows. So, look, that's my critique of it. That's just where my head is at with all of this, and um, I'm perfectly willing to come back and start doing the show again once if there's a new season of a new show that comes out, and we really want to talk about it, or maybe we pick it up again in years' time. They're not going to stop making Star Wars content, I don't
Yeah.
think. Um, but for the time being, it's just we're in a weird place.
Yeah, it's a very strange place. And I totally agree with the sentiments on every show should be appealing to like a different genre of the audience. And I guess they're attempting that. I would almost argue, now granted, I'm not the biggest Andor fan. I think it's a little overrated, and I'm probably gonna get shot for saying that. But I think they were attempting to do that with Andor.
Yeah,
But my opinion is I feel like they're attempting to do that with the wrong character. Like I don't feel like Cassian was a good choice to put that kind of uh maybe genre or tone on that character, because we know how that turns out. And he is more of a side character than a lead character, in my opinion. So I think that the reason that some people latch on to that particular show as an example is because it's trying to separate itself, is because it has less of that Disney aura and more of the, oh, there's a little bit more grit here, there's a little bit more violence, it's a little bit more adult, like we're trying to add actual stakes. Personally, I felt no emotional attachment to it, which is what made it so hard for me to get invested. I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I know how his story ends. Like, this is kind of predictable to me. And it very, very slow and very like dialogue and political talk heavy.
yeah,
Again, my opinion. But I think that's the only show that really made an effort to try and separate itself. to
Yeah.
try to do something different.
And it honestly, like, I will give them credit. Like, they did
It
a
looks great.
yeah. I mean,
It
it's a
looks
beautiful
awesome.
show. Cinematography. They're trying to make it more. And it, by the way, it's a hard thing to do when you're doing sci-fi shows,
Mhm.
but it's possible. It's certainly possible to make a really good sci-fi show. It's just that you have that Star Wars name attached to it, so there's a lot more pressure, and people have expectations, and so
Mhm.
they're them trying to connect old characters. I think has always has been the downfall overall. Is like you constantly trying to
If
do
you
these
do it
old characters.
occasionally, it can work.
It's
It
great.
once in a blue moon, you
But
can
if you're
do
gonna
it.
bring
It's
back old
awesome.
characters like in the sequels and then not having them be in one scene together, sorry, that drives me nuts. I'd love to
Yeah.
see those old characters. I just wanted one scene. Give me one scene so that 7-year-old Matt can be stoked about it. And he didn't get that. I got it with Obi-Wan. I got Ewan McGregor and I got Hayden Christensen in that emotional scene at the end, which is still one of my favorite episodes. Like, I think that stands alone as an amazing Star Wars episode, right? But when you're doing it constantly, and like I kind of agree with you, maybe having Andor Cassian as like a adjacent character. He's
He's
there.
a supporting character. He's not
Yeah.
a leading
But let's
man.
focus
He's
more on
not.
like the Empire side of things was great, like Krennic and stuff. Like have those people in here more. And then we have some new characters, and then maybe you can do a shoot off of that, which by the way might have been a good thing about Skeleton Crew. Seems like that's maybe what they did there. I don't know. Haven't seen it. I'll get around to watching it at some point. I'm not opposed to watching it. But like that's what we need more of. But we all, if you're going to do that, it needs to be top quality. You need to be thinking about who these characters are, what drives them, what decisions are they making, why are they the way that they are, what's making me fall in love with this character. And I don't know that, like I mentioned before, with a lot of these new people that have got brought in, there's this just Disney aura to them, where like you're not really a real person. Like I can't relate to you. You just seem like someone who's reading lines, and I don't blame the actor for that. I just blame the writing. Like I'm not a professional writer by any stretch of the imagination, but in the little understanding of writing characters that I do have is like you need to give them tough decisions, stuff that we can put ourselves in those shoes and empathize with them while they're making those decisions, right? And that will
Mhm.
tell you more about a character than anything else. Them making a decision. You don't need to, it's a show, don't tell thing. Present a scenario and show how the character responds to that scenario and makes a decision. That'll tell you everything you need to know. And I don't feel like we get a ton of that from Star Wars in general. And then the last thing I'll say is like one of the reasons we started this in the beginning as well was I wanted to provide like there's a million Star Wars podcasts out there, and I appreciate everyone who's listening to this, who has listened to the show and supported us. Like you guys are awesome. It's been really fun, and I've nothing. There's no ill will towards anybody. I'm not trying to like make people think that we hate you and we're not coming back on purpose. But one of the whole reasons we started this was you can consume so many different podcasts. It's the market's flooded with them. There's tons of people with their perspectives on Star Wars, but a lot of it is fangirling. People want to just talk about how awesome things are. And that's great. And I can appreciate that. But what I wanted to do is something I mentioned this before, like I want to be authentic and we got to take the crunchy with the smooth and let's be honest about everything. Like I'm going to praise it when it's great. I'm going to criticize it when it's at a place that I don't love.
Mhm.
And so in order to do that moving forward, I'm not just going to consume, like I said, I'm not just going to consume stuff for the sake of consuming it and then sacrifice authenticity um, for views, I guess, which
Yeah.
I don't even think would translate anyhow. Um, and I want to make sure I'm spending time on things that's like, all right, this is me being, completely genuine. And so I'm being genuine now. It's like, look, I would love to continue doing this. It's just right now in the stage of life that I'm in, especially like my life is chaotic and busy. I don't have a ton of time for this, and it's the shows are going in a direction that's just it's a little exhausting. It's become kind
Yeah.
of repetitive for me. But I'm always going to be making stuff. I'm always going to create stuff. I always want to like maybe if we stop Star Wars podcast, maybe there's another thing we do later on, or we're always you have
Yeah.
your own channels like you, which by the way we should plug right now. Melissa also has another channel. So there's two of them, right? You have
Yeah, I have two of them, although they're super niche. So yeah, guys, I do my own podcast now. It's on the YouTube channel at Melty Enjoys. Or I talk about a bunch of stuff. I talk about mostly like retro TV. It's kind of on a bit of a hiatus right now since I recently started a new job and a lot of life changes. So I'm trying to find the balance. But there's a YouTube channel at Melty Enjoys. where you can go over there and see what I'm doing. It's going to be changing a lot in the next few months, which I'm super excited about. But one of my main things is I want to start getting into retro television more and talking about it, because I have a huge passion for TV series that were made like 50, 60 years ago. Like, I'm huge fangirl of old classic television TV series. And, when this channel got really quiet, I had more time to explore that side of myself. So maybe it was a good thing that we took a step back from the channel,
Yeah.
because I got to explore other interests, other things that made me happy. And I'm excited about the way that those things are evolving. But again, if you want to see what I'm up to, you can follow my own personal YouTube channel at Melty Enjoys. That's the YouTube channel name. And then I'll put a link in this video to a bunch of stuff if you guys want to.
So go check that out for sure. I haven't been doing much creative stuff as much as I'd like, but I've gotten back into it. So I'm also doing, like, I make music. So that's the other thing that I've been working on and spending my free time on is finishing up a music album that I've been working on. So that's where I'm spending the time that I do have, which again, that's a huge reason why we haven't had, because it's tough to find time to connect on a schedule. And then you watch the show, which is a time commitment in and of itself. And then you got to write notes for it. And then you plan out the show, and then you got to edit the show, and you got to upload it. So there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes for this stuff. It's not just getting on and recording, even if it's just for 30 minutes to an hour. So it's a combination of things. I don't want everyone to walk away from this going, "Oh, Matt and Melissa are such negative Nancy's. They hate Star Wars." Like, no, it's not 100% of what it is. It's kind of like 50-50 time stuff. Our lives are in different spots right now. I'm a dad and just changed roles at my company. I also do other creative things too, and then putting Star Wars on top of that, it's on the back burner at the moment. You've already expressed kind of why that is, but that's kind of where we're at, everyone. And
yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say is at this point there is potential for us to come back, but I would say it's on indefinite hiatus at this moment in time. That's not to say we're writing it off forever, but
no, I would definitely come back if I get more time. Like, if I once my daughter gets a little bit older, and life slows down a little bit, which may never happen. But once I start getting more consistency in my life and having more time to be able to do a show like this, I'm more than happy to do it. And maybe it'll be worth doing, like, what if Andor comes out and it's like, hey, we'll do a couple episodes, maybe not every episode, but we can do one that summarizes 3 in a row or something. Like, I'd be open to that. When's the show due to come out?
Like a month or less, isn't it? It's like the end of this. I think it's the end of this month, season 2.
But look, this is a fun show we do here at the end of the day. I've had a blast with this the last couple of years. It's been really great. I'm sorry. Thank you. Sorry it's been so long that we haven't provided an update. But now you have a reason, or at least an explanation as to why. We've been busy and it's been tough. And I don't know. Do you guys agree? Like, maybe leave some comments. You can roast us if you'd like. We're sorry for not providing more updates sooner. It's been on my to-do list. I swear to you, it's been on my to-do list of things. And life has just been crazy with my daughter's 1.5 now. So that's bananas. So time flies. The older you get, if you're an older listener, you will completely appreciate this, especially when you have kids. If you're a younger listener, I'm telling you now, life speeds up exponentially each year that goes by. And so it's easy for things to fall by the wayside. But I love this channel. We've had it's like, even being on this now, it reminds me of like when we first started in my old apartment, and like that was like really, really fun, awesome times. And now I'm looking back on my life going, what did I do with all my free time? Like, I had so much free time, and it just doesn't exist anymore. But it's all good. Like, we're hopefully going to continue growing our family. And like I said before, I'm never going to stop making things. You guys can always stay, and Melissa's not either. So you can always stay tuned for our other stuff. I might have some content to be launching on YouTube myself soon if I have some time. But it'd be much lower lift in terms of what the content's actually going to be. So you can stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, check out Melissa's channels. They are great. They're growing. She's doing a great job on that. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some content here we can update as it comes. I hope the channel's not dead forever. But life changes. This is what happens. If you're doing a show like this over a long period of time, there's going to be times where things slow
Yeah.
down or stop, or maybe forever, maybe for just a little bit. I don't want to scare anyone and make people think we're never, ever, ever going to come back, because I enjoy this. But I also like, I hope people can appreciate, like, I want to be my most authentic self. And I think you do too. And
Mhm.
like, we obviously share that because we're siblings.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
So we want to, like, truly, it comes from a good place. Like, when it comes to creating art or creating something that you put out into the world, and I have the same perspective on my music, you have to put your heart on the table, and like, that's what people resonate with. And I don't want to bring content or stuff to the table that's not going to be at an optimal level and good quality, I guess, at the end of the day. So like, I'm trying to be uh I guess a responsible creator.
Content creator.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. I think, yeah, hiatus, but it's all good, guys. It's all good. And we appreciate you being here over the years and still watching the videos and then reading comments. We still check them out.
Yeah,
So,
appreciate the email. You've gotten a couple emails from you guys, obviously comments asking where we are. Sorry we haven't updated you earlier. But this is where the state of things are at. And it's been a fun journey up to this point. And I hope to see you guys again soon, honestly.
yeah. So, I guess that's pretty much it. Take care. Check out the other channel of mine if you're interested, but all good things. All good things.
And let
Hopefully
us know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts on the state of things. I'm interested to hear what people have to say about where things are going, where they've been. I've been out of the Star Wars zeitgeist for a bit. Like, I haven't been on social media as much. I haven't been reading up the blogs and the creators that I usually look into. So it'd be interesting
Mhm.
to hear where you guys think as well. Maybe there's a couple episodes of some of these shows that I haven't watched, like Bad Batch or Skeleton Crew, that you're like, you have to check this out. It's really, really, really good. And I'm happy to do that. But yeah, that's it from mine. Any other final thoughts?
No other final thoughts, guys. I appreciate you following the channel over the years, and maybe we'll be back soon. But thank you for continuing to leave your thoughts and opinions. And I've enjoyed this channel quite a bit over the years. So, uh, to infinity and beyond, I guess
Yeah,
we'll see you guys when we'll see you.
we'll see you guys when we see you. I think Star Wars is not going anywhere, so it's bound to come back around at some point. That might be in a year, that might be in 5, who knows? But Melissa and I certainly are not going to stop talking about it behind the scenes, at least. So maybe there'll be a time for us to come up and go, hey, let's just record this. So we'll come back as soon as we can. Sorry we don't have a more firm update, but we'll be back as soon as we can for you
Yes.
guys if that time comes. So appreciate everyone, and yeah, talk to you
Yeah.
later.
Talk to you later, guys. Thanks for tuning in.